Go on, play.
Should I?
Oh, no, I've just noticed what you've done.
Hello and welcome to Sharing Best Practice. This is called Sharing Best Practice because it's about community workers sharing what they've learned over the past 12 months and the things that they've come across while they've been working in and around our communities in Warrington. So let's welcome our first guest. Let's welcome Michelle Hayes. Hiya, you okay?
Hi, Jake. Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
How you doing?
Okay. Just trying to get through each day and make sure everyone's okay.
Honestly, so this is a dead easy chat. It's just a conversation between me and you. We've got a couple of games that we might play along the way. But really, it's a chance for you to just share about the wonderful things that you've been doing, because I know that you've been doing a lot of stuff, and I know that you've been in and about the community, basically more time out than in. But first off, do you want to give us your job title, who you work for, and then a little bit about you?
Okay, so my name's Michelle Hayes. I work for a charity called St Margaret's Community Partnership, which run a community centre based in Latchford East in Warrington. The community centre has been running in total for about 30 years. And I came on board as their centre coordinator in, I think it was 2016. So I've been there about 4 or 5 years now. And yeah, it's just because it's based in a small community in Latchford, and we're there to help. So that covers a lot of different aspects of community life. And we just help wherever we can, really, with whatever needs doing. So obviously managing the building when it's open pre-COVID, and the last 12 months has mainly been spent doing food stalls, so access to free food through supermarkets, donating their food.
I touched on that later on as well.
And food parcels for the people in need in the area. So we've done that once a month since March 2020. So yeah.
This is, like I said, this is a dead general conversation, but I have put in some games because I think it's really cool and it gives you a chance to just play a few games with me and have a bit of a laugh, really. But I do want to say that you do have the chance to win some prizes. So.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. So you do have a chance to win some prizes. So let's go over the prizes. So there's 3 games that we're going to play. The first one is going to be spin the wheel, but you're going to be basing that on numbers. Each number matches a question that I have pre-wrote, and I will read out the question. If you can answer the question, you get a point. If you can't answer the question and you pass, then you don't get a point. And at the end of it, you get to put those points towards your prizes. The second round is going to be noughts and crosses, dead simple, but we're going to be looking at some other questions as well, and that round is going to be themed all around Warrington, and obviously you particularly work within Latchford, so let's look at that a little bit more. And then we've got round 3, which is your final round, which is specifically about you and your best practice, things you've learned from your experience working in the community. So this is where you'll laugh. This took me ages to make. Right, so your first prize, you have the chance to win yourself a wonderful, lovely whiteboard. Yeah, exactly.
No.
You can win yourself a nice whiteboard to put up in your office.
Fabulous.
The second prize you can win yourself is a fantastic water bottle to keep yourself hydrated while you're doing those food runs and the delivery. And the third one is a mystery box, and you don't know what that is. You don't know what that is. You might not know what's in it, but neither do I yet until it's been made. So the mystery box, what is that going to be? What is that going to be? It's up to you. But at the end of this game, you can choose whether or not you're going to put your points into 1, 2 or 3. And it's up to you.
Them videos are amazing.
I'll send them you later. Let's get on to game one then. As you can you see this lovely, beautiful wheel over here?
I can, it's beautiful.
So we're going to give the wheel a spin, and we can either spin it soft, medium or hard, and that's up to you. Which one would you prefer?
Medium.
Let's give it a spin, let's see what it turns out. To be honest, that was quite a hard one. If that was soft, if that was medium.
Yeah.
Okay, so you landed on number 6. Where's question 6? Question 6. There we go. Your question is, this is quite a good one to start off with actually. COVID has changed your offer as a community organisation. What changes has it made? How have you had to adapt?
Okay, so our original community centre work was based in the building that we run. So it was things like a community fridge, a community cafe, and part of our mission is to reduce isolation and increase activity. Doing both those things along with the room hire within the building, it's encouraging groups to come together and meet, people to use the cafe and access the free food within the centre, so we can do that signposting and make sure everyone's okay, speak to people, get them out of the houses. So obviously in the middle of a pandemic where social distancing and the wearing of masks and lockdown, it kind of stripped us of all our ability to do those things totally. So we had to close the building. Luckily, we had some local volunteers that stepped forward when they realised that we were going to have to close the building, because that's where our community fridge is based.
Yeah.
So in the first, I think it was the first week or so our doors officially closed on I think it was the 18th or 19th of March last year. And by the 24th, I think it was, we had 5 or 6 stations based around Latchford in front of people's houses. So instead of us bringing all the donated food from the supermarkets to the centre, we now take them all to the centre, split them into 5 or 6 baskets, and then they are delivered out by those same volunteers to the 5 stations.
Because of COVID, do you think that's helped in a sense, because those people that might have been more isolated and obviously might not be able to make that journey from the house to the centre are now able to go to the end of the street and access that?
That's exactly what we found. So obviously without those volunteers coming forward, because obviously it's quite a lot of responsibility to deal with the food coming in and making sure that it goes out and it's taken in at night time and all those little things. So we were really lucky, and we found that people appreciated it, because obviously it's like you say, if they're shielding or they can't get out, it's really difficult for people. And especially when we had the issue of the panic buying quite early on, that obviously impacted how much donations we were getting. But it also meant that there were items available for those people in the community who couldn't get to the shops or couldn't get something that they needed. So that was the first change. And the second one was we actually got funding quite early on to do some food parcels. So we have a list of people that use our centre regularly, and we ended up, luckily we had contact telephone numbers for a lot of the older ones, so we gave them a ring and said, what's your address, we're going to drop some food off for you, is that okay? Obviously we have to get permission to have all these details and things. So that was quite early on. Again, within the first couple of weeks, we managed to get a hamper out to about 50 of our older people in the community.
Do you think that was key then, that time scale of getting it out as quick as you could?
I think for our older people, because we'd obviously, the week before lockdown, so about the 15th, 16th, when we were hearing that this thing might happen, and bear in mind our centre hasn't been closed ever like this before. And we are open and available usually 7 days a week to the community for whatever uses, party hire and private room hire and things. So the building in the last 30 years has never been closed to the public. So when we heard that this might happen, we were quite swift in our response, really. We kind of decided early on that we were going to stop the group activity. So the week before we actually got told to close, we were collecting names and numbers for vulnerable people that were in the centre that week. So we'd kind of preempted it, and I don't know whether that was just us or whether other organisations were in that same position. But we managed to preempt it quite well, because we'd told the older people that the group activity would be stopping the week after anyway. We were going to just stop that, keep the fridge going, and that was the plan. Leave the fridge at the centre so people could still access free food. And then obviously the week after, we were just like, no, we're shut, there's no free food. And then within 2 days, we had volunteers messaging us going, I can put one outside my house, I can put one outside my house. And when I looked at the map with these 5 locations that we had, they are actually, it's really weird, but the volunteers that have come forward made sure that every area of Latchford was covered.
Yeah.
And it was literally a 5-10 minute walk maximum. I mean, you can walk across Latchford in 20 minutes anyway. But it literally spaced it out, and it fell really well with obviously the situation as it was, and that complete lockdown and isolation in its truest form. You know, we've not chosen to do this, and a lot of our older people come to the centre to stop that happening, to keep active in the community, to meet friends, to get out of the 4 walls. And then we were asking them to not do that. One of my 80-year-old group attendees was still going down to his allotment 2 or 3 weeks into lockdown, and it was trying to explain to them that, you know, you have to stay safe, you have to keep yourself safe so we can all get back together at the end. So I think those parcels with the little note from us, you know, with a telephone number on saying, if you need anything, ring Michelle. You know, if you want to chat, if you need someone to go to the shop, if you want anything delivering, just give us a ring and we're there to help. And I think that did allow them to kind of realise that they weren't just going to be left stranded. You know, it's just making sure that all the little pieces of our community are protected as best as possible.
I think Leave No One Out page on Facebook, that played quite a big part in it as well, which was quite nice. Myself
and my co-worker actually considered doing that page, and then the day after, when we went onto Facebook to do it, one of the local residents had already set that up. So what we obviously then got involved with helping to find the street leads and things, but that is also a key. It's Latchford. We look after each other, and it's great.
Let's have another spin. Go on. Soft, medium, hard.
A little soft one.
Number 1. Let's have a look at number 1. What's question number 1? Question number 1 is, oh, this is a good one. What's one thing that your organisation's done in the past 5 years that you are the most proud of?
COVID response.
COVID response.
Yeah, so that's one of them. The other thing would probably be working alongside Latchford Big Local to deliver a lot more activity and engagement within the community. So Latchford Big Local is funded by National Lottery, and they were lucky enough to get £1 million, and they set up a steering group and they get that funding into the community where it's needed. As a charity, we apply for funds from them and deliver their plan, basically. So if they've got in their plan that they want a coach trip running, then we are commissioned to run those trips and events, and I'm really proud of how we work with them. And I think our residents obviously We've been here for 30 years, so we're 30 years in, but it's allowed our residents to access a lot more engagement and activity and opportunity.
Latchford Big Local is everywhere, isn't it? I mean, it happens in Pear Point, the pub, it happens in Westy Community Centre, it happens in your centre, it happens across the area in loads of different ways, in the schools and everything. And at the minute, obviously online, with the online cafe. So I think that's quite nice that there's that relationship. Do you think having the network in the community has been a good thing for you with a response to COVID?
Definitely. So obviously Latchford everyone knows everyone in Latchford. I think that's the key. But the fact that we do work well with other organisations, there's no kind of, what's the word? We're not precious about what we do, you know, and sharing information, and, you know, there's lots of things going on in Latchford, and we as a charity are there to signpost. So I think working with those organisations to enable the residents to access those different things. We would never say, we do this and that's all we do, and if you want that, then we don't do it. So it's not up to us to tell you. The point of us working together, St Margaret's is a partnership. The point of St Margaret's was bringing the church, who own the building, the local residents who wanted something in the area to enable that engagement, and local councillors who are always fighting for what's best in Latchford and making sure that we get our fair share. So I think as a partnership that runs the charity, that is the charity, we work well with other organisations because we realise how important that is, you know, for the opportunities for the residents. And that's what this is all about. Those local people who need access to various services, activity, engagement, and if we can't offer it, we know somebody who does, and we can signpost you. And I'm lucky enough to know quite a few of the people that do that organising in Latchford, and we are like a little family. We just give each other a ring. I've got someone who wants to come along. We are, and it's nice to be involved in that.
Community engagement, especially now, has changed because of COVID, but even pre-COVID, do you think having a relationship with the community on a maybe not a personal level, but knowing the names, knowing who they are, knowing a bit about them, and being able to have a conversation if you pass them in the street, do you think that's key in engaging them?
It's definitely, because sometimes it can be difficult to engage people, especially if they're out working every day, they've got kids to look after, they've got school runs to do. We find that the majority of people that we bring into the centre who will access the services will then go on to access other services within the centre. But they'll also come back to the cafe and bring their friends who didn't know we were there, who then end up volunteering for us or attending one of the classes that we do through the Priestley College. So it's grown a lot over the years that we've been there, and we are dead lucky because, you know, people it's word of mouth in Latchford. So if somebody who they trust says, oh, you should go there, they can help, they're 50% more likely to come through the doors than us putting a leaflet through the door, because there's that element of trust, I think. And that's what's so good about Latchford, because a lot of people know a lot of people, and that word of mouth, you know, since we've been doing the food stalls, the support we've had from people who we've never worked with before has just been immense. So I think, and I also think that people's attitudes to community will change once lockdown's over.
Well, I'm going to move on to the next round of the games. So at the end of this round, you've got 3 points. So 3 points on that one. Let's move on to round 2. So round 2 is really, really simple. You played noughts and crosses before, haven't you?
Yeah.
If you'd have said no, then I'd have ended this call right now. And look what we're using.
Like losing, though, Nick. I don't like losing.
Every time you answer a question, you get the chance to pop an X on. If you don't answer the question, I get to pop a naught on. But I don't have to answer a question in order to put a naught on. Unless you've got a question you want to ask me. But I'm using the wonderful whiteboard that you could win. But obviously not this one, because this one's...
I was going to say, you're not using my whiteboard without permission. I've already won that, dude. That's mine.
So, oh, look how smooth that writing is. Ooh.
You should go into advertising, Jake.
I've got 9 questions. Pick a number between 1 and 9.
6.
6. Okay, so if you can answer this question, then you get to put yourself a cross. Do you want to be naught or do you want to be crosses?
Crosses.
Like
always
offering
crosses,
choice.
dude.
You can be crosses. Do you have any words of advice for anyone out there who is offering support to communities at the moment, but they're really struggling to engage them? They're offering support, but there seems to be no pickup from it.
Ooh.
It's a hard one, that, isn't it?
It is really difficult because it's something we have struggled with, and we still do. There's a misconception that we can always try and reach the hard to reach, but they're called hard to reach for a reason.
Yeah, because it's hard.
It's difficult. If they don't want to engage, you cannot drag them out kicking and screaming, unfortunately. As much as you have that offer to make, if they don't want to take you up on it, then that's their prerogative.
It's choice, isn't it? It's choice.
It
at the end
is.
of the day, it's. I know, for obviously, because we do a lot of theatre, some people just don't like theatre, and that's okay. It's almost nowadays, especially what I'm finding is there's some people that work in the community that it's almost like everyone has to love what they do, and actually, it doesn't. Sometimes it just needs to be a specific group that enjoys what you do, or it might be a case of needs the support that you are offering in whatever capacity that might be.
I think it's the answer I would give. Obviously, I've been doing this a long time, but it's still one that baffles me sometimes. Make your offer clear. Be open to advice and support. Use, like we were talking about, use the networks. So if it's something like health and social care or welfare or things like that, there are official bodies that you can ask for help from. And yeah, just keep doing what you're doing and don't get disheartened. That's the main thing, because I think you can worry about the bad things that are going wrong or you think are going wrong quite a lot. Yeah. And you're then negating all the good that you're doing. And it took me a long time to learn that. So if we get a situation where we book an event and we don't get many people turning up, I would dwell on that. But I wouldn't concentrate on the 5 or 10 children that attended and were impacted by it really positively. But engagement is a really difficult one. And I think as long as you keep trying and you're doing your best, it's okay for people to say no, and you have to accept that.
I remember having a conversation with you. So when we were doing the Light Up Latchford with Latchford Big Local, I remember having a conversation with you going, what happens if no one turns up? Because it was something new and it's something that had not been done on that park or in that area before. It was, what happens if people don't show up? It was a scary one. Yeah, and it was night. It was dark.
So different. Yeah.
So nice one. Nice one. I'll let you have a cross for that one.
Yay!
Hey!
Right in the middle.
Right in the middle. Right in the middle. Okay.
You're going to find out my tactics now. I'm never going to be able to win again.
I'm going to put one there. I don't know if there's a trick, 2 noughts and crosses, isn't there? Your question 6 out of it. Between 1 and 9.
Number 8.
Things are starting to lift. We're starting to see restrictions. Restrictions allow us to do more things, aren't they? So what's your plan? What is St Margaret's Latchford's Community Hub? What's their recovery looking like? Even though we can't give a definite answer.
I knew you were going to ask me that. Everybody has asked me that every week for the past 12 months. And my answer remains the same. No idea. No. We've obviously changed what we're doing. In the meantime, while the building has been closed, there's been other things happening behind the scenes. So we've done a bit of fundraising because obviously we have a big building and we've had no income at all. So the fundraising side has been ongoing. And we have managed to get some funding from Blue Orchid to ensure that when we do open, we have the sanitation stations, we have contactless payment available, a screen for our cafe hatch. So we're putting all that in place. However, until the next lot of guidance comes through, we don't know what services we're going to offer. So at the moment, I am planning on bringing back the stalls to the centre. And that will happen probably, I shouldn't be giving a date really, but I think it'll be around the 19th of April. Okay. I'm taking some much needed time off 2 weeks before that.
Like so, you should.
Yeah, I've been told, I've got no choice. So on the 19th of April, I would like to see the food stalls back at the centre. And then from there, we will look at whether we open the cafe with a one-way system in place, or we do outside food, or we get a number of the smaller groups in. But obviously those timescales are all changeable. The roadmap is not set in stone. We're just doing what we can at the minute to keep going, because obviously the services we provide are really important, but they don't bring in any revenue at all.
The stands, the food stands, coming back to the centre. What's the reason for that? Is that because of the how much it takes to maintain that? Do you know what I mean? Because how often are you doing it? Is it every other day?
Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day, and it's 7 days a week, innit? It's
7 days.
Yeah.
And we've got 2 or 3 drivers that do 3 or 4 days each, with the drop-offs at the stalls. So we've got another couple of drivers that'll bring the donations in. We collect donations 7 days a week from Marks and Spencer's, all the co-ops in Latchford, Appleton Co-op, Lidl, the one in Latchford and the one in town. And we get random pickups from Aldi, Stockton Heath, Tesco, the big Tesco on Winnick Road. So in all the mist of that, we've kind of got a set of drivers who are brilliant, going above and beyond. And it's great, but it's also the people whose houses we're dropping food off at. So we've been quite lucky because the people that have offered to help have been furloughed, or they can't work from home, and they've done this for 12 months. So we're coming up to a full 12 months next week. So as much as I would like it to stay out in the community, it's not feasible long term for us, because obviously things like paying drivers' expenses, petrol money and things like that, we were quite lucky. We got some funding quite early on in the pandemic to cover those costs and make sure that those volunteers are not out of pocket.
You've seen firsthand this need for those to be out in the street and those to be outside people's houses. Obviously, working 7 days a week and delivering and constantly picking up every day, and as well as managing other projects and managing all of the other stuff that the centre's got going on.
The bills, the security, the building. Yeah.
That's going to take a toll on you and your work-life balance. And for anyone out there, and you don't have to get too personal if you don't want to, but how are you managing your work-life balance? How are you managing that? Because that's going to be something that people who are watching this, that's going to be something that they're going to go, how's she doing it? How's she doing it? Because at the moment, you just seem a little bit like a miracle woman. How are you managing that difference?
I'm just waiting for my husband to pipe up, so just bear with us if he does.
Would I?
So
Don't tell me would
it's really difficult. I am slightly a workaholic. I get those genes from my dad, and I am all in it for the community. And sometimes it can be quite difficult because you've got the majority of people that really appreciate it. Sorry, I'm going to get emotional, but the majority of people I know really appreciate what I do. They don't expect it, but they know I'm here, so they can ring me and have a breakdown. They can ask me to drop some food off. There's always going to be that small portion of the population that will either take advantage or expect too much or complain that you're not doing enough. So my work-life balance, yeah. And my work-life balance at the minute is very off-key, which is why I've got some annual leave to take, and my directors have insisted that I take that break because I am kind of hitting that wall at the minute. But I have an amazing team of volunteers and people who support me every day. But I know if I need to just take some time, I have a massive team of amazing people who step up. And I realise how lucky I am because we've had that pre-COVID. When COVID happened, that group has grown. My staff were furloughed. And then other volunteers have had to step back because of underlying health issues, various reasons. And then we kind of got more. And it's really heartening to see that happen. But they are my rock. And I couldn't do what I do without those volunteers. On the other side of it, I have an amazing family. My husband, who has been today and fixed a fence that blew down last week in the winds. And my son as well. I've got a 12-year-old son who did Christmas Eve. Not last year, but the year before. He was out helping us feed people on Christmas Eve, and he was 11. So I'm surrounded by great people, and I think that's what keeps me going. I do have my bad days. I have mini breakdowns on a regular basis about silly little things. But I think the team that we've got and the people that I know who really appreciate what I do really keep me going. And I think that's the key thing.
Now, I'm not gonna lie, I think that's worth about 4 crosses. All them answers are worth about 4 crosses.
On my heart, and it's not worth me just winning right out. Jake,
right,
you break my heart.
Go on. Okay, right. Let's go. I'm gonna go there. You're gonna go
there. That side.
There?
That side. There. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Go on, play.
Should I?
Oh no, I've just noticed what you've done. You're cheating because I can't see the board.
Where do you want to go now?
I'm in the middle of your 2 O's where you like me. Yay! I win. That was
well done.
Square.
Nice one. Do you think so? Like you said, then having like this network of people and this support network in place, like both in work and at home. Obviously, there's going to be people out there that don't have a husband and a kid. When we think about people's workplace, do you think that employers need to start thinking about how they can support a network of people? Do you know what I mean? Do you think employers need to start thinking about people that might be pushed to their limits, especially now because of COVID? People are going to be pushed to the limits, and moving out of lockdown, those that have been furloughed are now going into a world that they might have been isolated from because they've stayed home during the whole of furlough, and now they're going into a workplace which is full of all people talking while you sat at a desk. And I don't know about you, I can't deal with that.
I've worked from home since March, so all the paperwork and the computer stuff has been done in my living room, and it drove my family batty. But because I'm out and about as well, I found it quite easy to kind of get back into the centre, and I've got random people coming in, and I'm fine with that. I do know that employers are going to have to make those adjustments. So the problem is the last 12 months and people working from home often means that work-life balance is off. I know people who are accountants and things like that, and they've been working from home, and they have been working on the laptop till 7 o'clock at night before they've even realised that it's 7 o'clock at night. So it's too easy when you've got your work office at home, especially for people who don't do that on a normal basis as well. Because I think the majority of people who work from home on a regular basis will have that space, and they'll have learned to kind of, right, that's cut off time, go and sit and watch TV or put a film on. The majority of people are used to getting up in the morning, leaving their house, going to the office, and that's when they're in their frame of mind for work. So I think changing that back and going back to whatever this new normal looks like, whatever that may be, I'm getting tired of those words, but that's initially what it will be. It's going to be really important for the employers to ensure that mental health is looked at, because that's a major concern for a lot of people at the minute. It's got to be a priority when you get someone back into a building or an environment where they haven't been for 12 months.
One of the things that was recommended to me by one of my friends was, when you wake up in the morning, usually you walk from at least your front door to your car, you drive, and then you walk from your car to the front door of your office or wherever you work. And one of the things that was recommended to me was to get up, get dressed, walk around the block, and it's almost like you've walked to work, and then at the end of the day, you then walk back, but you walk the other way around. And I'd never thought about that. And don't get me wrong, I tried it. I did try it. It didn't stick to it because I don't wake up on time. That's my thing. But but I tried it, and I did feel better on those days that I did it. I did feel better, and I'd probably give it another go. But I'm just trying to drink more water at the moment. That's my focus. Right, let's move on to the next one then. Okay, round three. Round three.
Speak English.
And now, welcome, round three. We're back to the wheel. We're back to the wheel. Just a reminder as well that you do have those 3 prizes that you can get yourself. You get the water bottle, the wonderful water bottle to keep you hydrated while you're working. You can get the whiteboard to make sure you're still organised, or the mystery box. Which one are you fancying at the moment?
I want the mystery box, but the video for the water bottle is just the best. So that's kind of swaying me a little bit.
It's the run.
I know you did not run to film that. Yeah, Jake doesn't run. We know this.
This one is all about colours. So as you can see on here, I have all of those colours printed off. I nearly dropped that then. All of these colours printed off. The colours match the ones on the wheel. You spin it, you hit the colour, you get a question. And this is going to be a speed round, so you're going to get about 20 seconds to answer each question. So you ready?
I'm not good at quick answers. Have you not learned anything in the last half hour?
We're going to do this. Come on, you've got this. You've got this.
Make it fast. Come on. Go.
One eternity later.
Tell me when to stop, because I feel like that's going to go on for ages.
Stop.
Oh, that was quick, that.
Yellow.
Right, let's go for a yellow. Oh, way up. Straight out of the pocket. It's a Lello question. Oh, way up. So, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to answer this. I don't have a button for a timer, so I'm just going to count in my head. You're given 7 days to spend £10 million on Warrington and the Warrington community. What do you do? 30 seconds. Starting now.
I would ensure that it goes into services that help the local residents. So I would probably do a bit of a survey, find out where the missing funds are and put them into what the residents want. There's been so many cuts over the last 10 years that services are limited. So let's just put it where we've got missing money. That's what I'd do.
Where it's needed. I love that. You can tell you're
Where
a
it's
community
needed.
worker because as soon as it came, you were like, right, well, we need to do consultation.
Yeah.
Straight up, we need to do consultation. So I don't know yet.
And then get the money out.
Right, well, that's yellow. Gone. Next one, fast, soft or medium?
Just do a soft one. It'll be quicker.
Soft one. Tell me when to stop.
Pink.
Pink. Let's go for the pink. Oh, way up. They're all like really easy to grab. So, your question is, you support a majority of Latchford. What would you say has been needed the most in the area in the past 12 months? Give you 30 seconds.
Contact with people and just general support. So making sure that everyone's okay in whatever we possibly can, in a distance safe way. Parcels of food, knocking on the door. Do you need a prescription picking up? Just what the page Latchford Leave No One Out does. Someone on each street just checking in, making sure everyone's okay and safe. And obviously access to food because people are furloughed and lost jobs and can't get out.
Well, those people. Seconds? No, that was about 30 seconds. I'll give you that. That was pretty good. Those people who don't know what Leave No One Out Latchford is, I think it happened in a lot of different communities, didn't it? Because I'm sure there was one for Sankey and Orford and all the different places.
We were the first to do it.
All right.
I'll say our community was the first one to do it. And then a lot of the other local councillors kind of took the idea and developed it into their own. Cool. It's amazing. Absolutely brilliant. So it's just a local lead on each street in the area. And that local lead posted through each door with their contact details on and said, if you're shielding, if you need any help, if you've had a positive test, just give me a ring and we can pick up shopping, we can go and get a prescription, we can make sure you're okay. And yeah, it worked really well. It's still going, we've still got that page running for anyone that needs any help. And it's become quite a social page now with people sharing information and stuff. So yeah, it's good. It's good, really good. Yeah, and it was nice to see it kind of replicated around the town.
I think that was what was quite nice, was that this learning had took place and it was, this is really working. And I know that a lot of the time we see people go, I can't copy that, I need to come up with a completely new idea. Actually, if it works, if that works and that can be transported and maybe adapted a little bit, but if it works, why not replicate it?
And that's what it's about.
Yeah. For me,
sharing those ideas.
I was really happy actually, because obviously my nan got one through the door because she lives in Latchford and their street lead. My nan got one through the door, and obviously because the family lived around the area anyway, we were there to support her. But if we weren't, it was really nice to see that was there, that was in place, which I think it's a brilliant initiative. So pink, gone. Hard, soft, medium.
Soft.
Oh, that was medium.
Stop.
Oh, we've had pink.
You can't pink again.
Next.
Go.
We're going to go again.
Go.
Tell me when to stop. Oh, orange. Have we had orange?
No.
Have we had orange? No, we've not had orange.
It looks red from here, but if it's orange, it's orange. I feel like my hair.
Oh, no,
it matches.
Hang on. Right, okay. So, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to answer this one as well, actually. Name one thing you think Warrington or Warrington people do really well when they work with the community. And your 30 seconds start. I'm trying to give you some time here.
Do you mean
Now.
so? Do you mean people in community work jobs,
So,
or just the general community?
So anyone who works with the community, it might be employment or it might be volunteer or it might just be they're a really decent person and they're looking after their community. But what's one thing that you think they do really well? What are they doing really well?
So in Warrington as a whole,
Anywhere in Warrington?
It's looking after each other. It's been shown specifically the last 12 months. But even before that, quietly, that's been happening in so many different areas across Warrington. You know, we're not the only charity that has a building that offers to engage with groups. There are hundreds across Warrington. We know most of them. We communicate with them. We work with them on sharing ideas, or if they've got excess of something like the food stalls and things like that. You know, we work with Ames, Happy Hub in Orford. So it's looking after each other. We're great at it in Warrington, and I can't fault anyone in any area of Warrington, because there's always something going on for people, and there's always someone putting themselves out to help someone in need, always.
Do you know, I really haven't stuck to this 30-second thing, have I?
No, you've not. And I tend to ramble when I'm nervous, so this is not helpful.
Fine. When you get us together, that's what's going to happen. Orange, done. Okay, I'm going to spin it again. Tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Oh. Drop my cards. Right, let's go for a green. So, green. Oh, this is a good one. And I know you're just gonna say everyone. I know you are. But green, if you could give a shout out right now to any organisation, only organisation, not person, just an organisation, and thank them for the input into their community, who would it be and why? Who would you thank for their input into the community? And I know there's going to be a lot. There's going to be tons.
There's so many. So I would have to mention the co-op.
Okay.
And I know obviously that's a business rather than an organisation, but they are allowing us specifically to help those people in our area by providing their donations. We're also a local cause, and we have been a local cause a couple of years ago, and they're a continued source of support. So we have the local pioneer, Bernadette Bell. I better just mention her name or she'll shout at me.
Shout out.
But it's a continuous support that we've had from them for a number of years, and they always, if we need anything, we just call into the local store and say we need some carrier bags or we need this, and they're there.
I've just got, do you know, what's that song? When you need me, call me, no matter where you are. I don't know why.
Ain't no mountain
I've just got
high
this
enough.
image. I love Bernadette, but I've just got this image of her just doing this video, just clicking. Oh, do you know what?
I'm seeing her tomorrow. I'll ask her if she'll star in that video.
Ask her if she'll do that. I'll come and film it. I'll come and film it when it's safe for COVID. Green,
but again,
gone.
she's delivering parcels tomorrow for me as well. So you know, she's amazing. Co-op's bro.
Okay, tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Oh, pink again. Let's go for a
Go
spin.
to purple. Could have just gone for the next colour. Stop.
Yellow. We've had yellow, haven't we?
Have we done? We've done yellow.
Tell you what, we're gonna go for purple.
Okay, purple's good. Purple's my favourite colour.
I knew it was gonna land on purple. Okay, so you've got 30 seconds. Is there anything about Warrington's culture, community, or history that really interests you? So it can be something that you think is brilliant, or you think, actually, this really needs changing. I need to learn more about that. That is a hard question, actually.
I definitely need to learn more about the history of Latchford, and I'll own that. I do need to learn about, obviously, the history of our building, because that's quite old. We've just had a culture heritage grant.
Yeah.
So
well done.
that is
well
something
done, Hang on, should we see if you're clapping works? Just seeing if the clap works.
I would definitely love to find out more about our building, and that's something that I keep saying I will do, and then I get sidetracked. But now my favourite bit about the culture in Warrington is the things that we've got, like the Par Hall and the museum. We've got quite a rich history in Warrington, the industry, and the factories and things like that. I know there is quite a massive industrial history in Warrington. I just don't know enough about it, and it's something that I would like to learn when I actually get time.
Leading on from that one then, blue.
What?
We're going to go for a blue one. So, when you take time for yourself, what's your favourite place to do this and why?
So, the only time I tend to take off work is my annual leave in August. And you will find me in North Wales, in my tent, with my family, usually either my parents or one of my sisters or my brothers. And yeah, just Colwyn Bay Beach, Llandudno for the pier. I love going to visit castles. There's lots of places in Wales that are my favourite places. I've grown up going there on holiday since I was very young, and I still take my son there. We go camping in our tent, and that's kind of my happy place. And I am so desperate to get back to my camping. We managed to get a little caravan holiday last year, last minute. But I am missing my tent and my campfire. So yeah. I want to go to the beach.
Oh. Right. Okay. So I didn't keep count of the scores because we all know. No. So what I am going to say is we have a winner. Hey! Right, okay, so you get to choose your prize. So
surprise me.
I know it's really hard. No, you've got to choose.
It's too hard.
You've got to choose.
Oh, no.
And I'm just going to show you, just because I know you really, really like the videos. I pressed the wrong button then. Here we go. Just because I know you like the videos. So, up for grabs, you have a water bottle to keep you hydrated on your food parcel deliveries. You have a whiteboard, which can help you stay organised. You could write out the delivery routes on there if you really wanted to. Or there is the mystery box, which is a mystery to you and to me at the moment. You never know when it'll be. But which one are you thinking you might choose?
I'll go with the mystery box.
Are you going for the mystery box?
Just because I want to see where you go with that. That could be anything. And if you don't know what's going in it, I'm slightly worried.
I'd say we outsourced it, but we've not. Right, okay, so I'm going to wrap up in a moment, but just before we go, because this is all about sharing best practice, and it wouldn't, obviously this interview, we're going to have a series of interviews with various people who work in various parts of the community in various different ways. How many times can you say various? So before you go, what I really want to find out really is what's your biggest lesson that you've learned really because of COVID and as a community worker? What's your biggest lesson that you've learned?
The biggest thing that's come from all this is that when it comes down to the nitty gritty and you need people, they will always be there. So yeah, it could have been different had Latchford not, obviously I'm talking about Latchford because that's where I'm based, but everyone just came together and it worked, and I don't think there's anything bad in that, and it surprised me a little bit. I like to hope that would have happened had I had foresight, but the fact that it did, and it did so quickly and so well, and I think that goes for the whole country, to be quite honest. We're seeing amazing things in parts of the country, all over, that communities are looking after each other, and as much as sometimes it's not our job to do those things, maybe people are helping people because they need help, and that's always a good thing.
Is there anything that you think you look back and you think, because I know there's things I look back on and I think, do you know, if I'd have just knew this, or if I'd have just, what I could have done that better, what would be your I could have done it better?
I think, I don't know. I think we've done everything. I don't want to sound big-headed, but I think
done everything you can.
We did everything we possibly can, and we're still doing that. I think the only thing I possibly would change is how much effort everybody has had to put in to maintain that. And like I say, we've got a massive team and they're all really good and they're amazing, but it's a lot of pressure on a small number of people delivering to the whole community. And if I had my way, that pressure wouldn't have fell on those people. But they've taken the ball, they've ran with it, and the only reason we could have done what we've done, what we've managed to achieve, is that small group of people that are working day in, day out to make sure it happens.
I really appreciate it, and I think it's really nice to actually get to have a chat with you about this, and just finding out a little bit more about you and what you think, because I think obviously doing the amount of hours that you do as a community worker, you're going to be, sometimes you don't take that time to reflect on yourself. No. So I think it's been quite nice.
And I think that's the issue, because once someone sits and asks me those questions, I have a lot of words because I overanalyze things. So all through the day when I'm just getting on with it, I am going over stuff in my head. Did I say that wrong? Should I have done this a different way? So when someone actually sits in front of me and tells me, well, what do you think? It kind of all comes out. So that's a good thing, I think.
Give us a top tip for community workers. Give us a top tip. What you sharing your best practice, what is your top tip?
For community workers?
Could be anything. Could be just buy a pack of pens from Tesco's. We all know pens go missing.
Always try to help others, but remember to take care of yourself. You can't help anyone else if you don't take care of yourself first.
I just want to say a massive thank you for coming on, sharing your thoughts, your feelings, and being so honest and open about everything that you've learned. I think it's going to be really nice for people who are trying to become community workers, or people that have got the experience but just needed that little bit of reassurance to go, actually, I'm not going crazy, and that they've got this same feeling as you might have. But no, thank you so much for coming on. I will pop your contact detail. I'll pop your contact detail. Let me start that again. It's been one of them days, Shell. It's been one of them days.
I've had one of them years.
Yeah, I'll put your contact details there for people who want to get involved, or maybe give your page a like or something on Facebook.
Fabulous.
But yeah, thank you very much.
No, thank you. Thanks for having me. It's been fun.
Cheers. See you later.
Bye.